Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel outside the target demographic. Today we're doing part 2 of the sound deadening, and that is going after the driver's side doors. Let's get started. Alright, so we have the driver's side door, and tip for the video. Right here, we have some reflective tape. So when your door is open, if you break down in the middle of the night or in a parking lot or what have you, this is going to be the widest, furthest away from your vehicle and should draw some attention in to let people know that your door is open. So with the rear doors, I have a short on it. Go ahead and look at that if you're interested. Basically right in here, there's going to be a little hatch, and you'll use a flathead screwdriver and pop that open. In the rear door, in here, there's another one of those little hatches, and you lift it up. This one has a little bit higher quality, I guess, spec level, I don't know, retention tray there. So there is not a screw there. What you'll do is right here is a little notch. You'll use a flathead screwdriver. You do not pry. You're going to push in this little tab. Once you do that, this guy rocks out of place. And you have 1, 2, 3 Phillips screws that you'll pull. Once you do, you're going to go around the frame of your door and pull out. What I find is the furthest from the hinge, lowest part of the panel, if you could get your fingers up under there and give it a yank, the door will pull away from the frame. Once you do that, and this is the same for the rear paneling as well, grab the handle, pull the bottom out towards you, lift up and off. So what we're going to have, the plastic is a moisture barrier, and that's going to keep the humidity and moisture from the exterior out of your interior. You're going to have 1 or 2, the rear door had 1, 2 electrical connections, and then right up here you're going to have a white and a green, basically bicycle cable, and we're going to disconnect each one of those and take this panel off, which leaves us with this mess. So this is a base model 2018 Gen 4 Subaru Forester. You have your speaker here. You have some type of deadening material, it seems. I've seen paper that is thicker than that. You have your 2 electrical connections for your power windows and power locks. These are the cables that will engage with the latch on the exterior of the door. One of them is your door release lever, and the other one is your lock. And then I did not know, the rear doors do not have this. This is for your runner board light. So when you open the door, the ground beneath you, where you're about to be stepping, will be illuminated, and that will help you know if there's ice or rain or snow or puddles or what have you there. So this should have been sealed, as should have been this. So kind of curious. I wonder if someone has been in here before. Considering how difficult it was to remove this when I intended to, I really don't see this happening by accident. While we're in here, you will find these little foam O-rings, and they're just going to sit here. They're basically a anti-scuff device from what I can tell. Some of them will have it, some of them won't. The ones that won't, they're still going to be on the white clips on the exterior or the interior panel. So don't worry about that. If you see them, replace them. This is one of those pegs on the door that's going to stick it into the door, and then the 1, 2, 3 screws are what actually mechanically hold it to the door. So maintain those, keep those if you can. Some of them will pop off, some of them will be on the door, and some of them will be on the door. By that I mean some of them will be on the metal, and some of them will be on the plastic. So as we look in here, we do have some deadening material there, and that's it. So what we're going to do is, I don't really have to remove any of this. There might, could, should, is a rather large opening here But last time I found if I just peeled away the furthest from the joint, furthest from the hinge, top, there's a large open panel here. It's from here to there to here to there. So large enough I was able to slide my arm in there and put the material on the interior of the exterior panel. Again, they have something there. It's not much. I'm in this far anyways. I'm just going to go ahead and apply a little bit more to the door. So currently, door open, no interior panel. And I'm not going to close it because I don't know if I'm going to be able to open it. So that's what we have before. And it's a good thing I did this because I can correct this. I can correct this. And I feel like, oh, okay. You know what? While I'm in here, this is the wiring harness that leads up to my mirror. On the driver's side of the car, I upgraded my mirrors from the standard base model ones to the, right here will be a Subaru Icon, and then they're heated and dimming. So I have to run the wiring for the heating element, which being up here in Cleveland, Ohio, where it tends to snow during the winter, is advantageous to me. So I'm going to go ahead and run a wire up there. I will be doing a video on upgrading this one to the higher grade mirror. I think it was like $50 on eBay. So $100 between the pair. Absolutely worth the money. Just the dimming feature alone for people who don't know that their headlights are misadjusted and or like to run their high beam all the time during the winter, it's worth it just for that. So if I can get them to heat as well, I'm already in here, might as well just pass a wire through. Since you already have your door panels off, go ahead and take them inside, give them a wipe down, clean them up, and then hit them with Armor All or whatever you choose. Those who have seen my channel before will know that I'll be using linseed oil. Linseed oil is an oil, so it will help rehydrate the plastics. In addition to, as it dries, it polymerizes, essentially becomes a clear coat, and that will help prevent any moisture loss, any UV damage, drying out, color changes, scratches, all that stuff. You've essentially added a clear protective shell around it, and it's 100% organic because it's just linseeds. So that's what I'll be doing with mine. Again, I have a short for doing my rear doors, and that's what I did to them, and they look primo. So go ahead and get these cleaned and drying for you as you apply your sound deadening to the doors themselves. So naturally, with my luck, we are fighting a little bit of rain. Turns out you can close your car door and the mechanism will still operate on the interior even though these are not connected, so don't worry about that. What we are going to be doing now is we have rubbing alcohol, and paper towels, and we're just going to go ahead and prep the surfaces as best we can. We do have the doors inside drying, as I said, and at this point, this is probably going to take you 5 minutes, right? I do have the driver's side door torn apart as well, so I'm going to be cleaning both of those. What you would typically do is leave the Noico or whatever matting you're using material out in the sun. Again, you'll see that in my YouTube short. The sun will help heat it up, which will make it more malleable and easier to form and stick better and be rolled out a little bit easier. You'll notice I will be getting none of those benefits today with the aforementioned rain. So I am preheating the oven. It's only going to take a couple minutes to get it warm, but we're going to go ahead and prep the doors. So we're back to the doors. They've been cleaned, they've been rinsed, they've been dried. So now I'm going to be doing the linseed oil. It started raining, so I'm going to go ahead and start linseed oiling not only the doors, but I cleaned, and we will be doing the mud mats as well. The first thing I'm going to do is make sure that this fake leather is cleaned before I apply. I got this leather honey for a leather hat that I have, Works pretty well so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat the leather first. That way any linseed oil that I accidentally apply to the leather as I'm trying to get around the black trim here will have a barrier in between. Linseed oil shouldn't do anything to the leather. This is going to prevent it from having that opportunity. What I do is have an old baby sock because the kids are growing. And I just keep this wrapped around the top of the bottle. I have an easy applicator, and you can see it'll shine it up, help moisturize it, condition it, being a leather conditioner. Makes it look much nicer. And let's go ahead and do that portion on both panels. So this is our after. I globbed it on pretty good. The leather, or fake leather, as may be the case, is going to soak up what it can, and the rest of it's going to help condition it. So that is our after versus our before. So the longer it sits, the better off it's going to be. I don't really apply my arm to these guys, so I'm not going to bother wiping any off. I could reapply some, depending on how dry that material is, how much it soaks in. It is far easier to work on and get into those intricate corners and panelings and all, being able to rotate and flip and angle and all that, having the panels inside. So they're off the car anyways, might as well take the time, clean them up real nice. So again, I just slip the sock over it. I know what it is, and that will, I find that the lid leaks a little bit, so this will continue to soak up and absorb. I didn't even have to use any of the material in the bottle. The sock already had plenty of what I needed. So both of the leather panels are done. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and start doing the linseed oil. What I would recommend is, again, since this is easier to flip and rotate and augment and all the stuff you need to do, go ahead and make sure that you've done a deep cleaning where your drinks go, around the back of this, around the switches and these grooves and stuff, and especially in the weather stripping here. The linseed oil as a clear coat analog is going to seal in anything that you do not remove. So the more thorough of a job you do in the cleaning process, the better it's going to look once you apply the linseed. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Here is a before, and here is the after. So it is going to be kind of shimmery, shiny, reflective, almost like Armor All, I think would be the other product that people may consider using. I feel like I've read a couple things about that where I'd rather use the linseed oil, plus I already have linseed oil. So as an oil, it's hard to explain how it would go on. It doesn't drip, it doesn't follow gravity and bundle up in places, which is nice. I suppose that would depend on your applicator as much as anything else. My applicator is an old sock. You can wad up the material and get a little bit more transfer onto surfaces, and then you can go thin and you can get it in between the grooves. But it is going to be shimmery, shiny until that moisture is soaked into the material. But this is our after next to our before. So I say it makes a pretty pronounced difference between the two. So we're going to go ahead and do the linseed oil on the untreated stuff, get that all cleaned up, and hopefully the rain will have passed by the time we're done with that. So we are now done with all of them. What I will suggest and what I will recommend is, my application is several light coats. So I take the sock, I do almost as if I'm sandpapering, and you'll notice that there's very little accumulation or, running or anything like that. So I do very thin coats, and it's going to be easier to apply 3 thin coats than 1 thick coat and let it glob and go wherever it's going to go. It's less of an issue with your runner boards, but should you find an errant hair, click, anywhere. Go ahead and wipe it free. As this cures, it will clear coat essentially, and it could lock that hair or dust bunny or whatever into the clear coat finish. So just do a quick once over. If you see something, also there were probably the size of a postage stamp amount of scuffs here. I'm not sure how, maybe a metal tumbler was placed in there, something like that. So the oil is going to be thicker than like a runny, watery material. And as it crystallizes, it kind of fills in a little bit of those gaps. So, man, look at that reflection. You can almost tell the time. Beautiful. So just a quick thing there. There's a little hair right there. Knocked it free, knocked it free. It just wipes right off. I did not wear gloves. It's not a caustic hazardous material. So all you'll need is some Dawn dish soap or whatever dish soap you use. It's a degreaser. It will break down oils, which is what this material is. So no issue there. Now that we're done with the linseed oil, we're going to let that cure for a bit. And I'm going to go back outside and attempt to do the sound deadening. So we return to the door, and a reminder, go ahead and clean on the inside there. If you see dirt, your time was not wasted. So you'll notice, if we look in here, we have 1, 2 crossbars going across to reinforce the door. So we have 1, 2, 3 panels, right? So what I do is I pre-cut my sheet. So we have 1, 2, 3. This biggest one will go right here. This one will go in the middle panel, and then this top one is going to go right here. Now, with there already being something there, I think I'm going to go up here. But regardless, go ahead and pre-cut it. It is pretty malleable. I put it in the oven, maybe at like 200 degrees. As soon as it hit that temperature, I turned the oven off and just let it bake in there, as it were, for 10 minutes or so. Makes it very malleable, much easier to form. I'm going to go ahead and apply, and then we'll roller it in. So we have our 3 sheets here, and you'll see I did 1, 2, and you'll probably have to trust me on the third one, but it's right under this beam. At this point, for those of you who haven't seen my shorts video, YouTube shorts that is, the other videos on my OnlyFans, these triangles will need to be rollered flat. So as you apply enough pressure to them, you'll notice the diamonds go away. So that is a visual indicator that you have applied enough pressure to properly adhere the material. You'll also notice I'm not gunning for the middle of the plate. Again, this one has something in there. I'm going just, I mean, that's a fingernail's distance, right? Away from it. And that's going to help get it to be the least resonant, which is what we're trying to do. So somewhere we had it before, I'm sure. Let me go ahead and... Nice. Now, this is the loudest it's going to be, right? Because I don't have the plastic. I don't have the padding behind the plastic. So this is a solid sheet of metal that should be reverberating pretty good. And you can see that middle sheet right there is bouncing where I've hit it. So that door sounds fantastic. In a part 2 video, I have some deadening material that will go over this moisture barrier. Basically what this is doing on top of this. My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, this will cut down your higher frequency, your cymbal clash. You know, I've seen a YouTube video, the bell at a hotel desk, the bing! They put a postage stamp size. So again, you only need 30% coverage. You don't have to do the entirety of the door. You get into diminishing returns there. But they bing the bell and it bings. And then they put the deadener on there and it could punk, punk, punk. So it lowered the ding to a dong. And it got rid of the ability of the metal to resonate and vibrate, to continue and carry on that noise. So this is one of 2 materials that you will need, but it is already making a substantial difference. So much so that I've only done the rear hatch and rear doors to this point. and I had to turn the volume down 2 or 3 clicks lower than it typically is because I'm not trying to overpower the road noise that I usually have. So let me go ahead and get the roller and we'll get this door back together. Okay, so for the bottom one, I found it easier to just peel around this. There's a nice opening right in here. I was able to roll that flat. I rolled this one as well. So we're now at the last one. I'm going to attempt to show you what it looks like. You're just going to roll that as flat as you can. So we have the scales over there. We have relative flat there. You are going to cut up your hand pretty good. So wear gloves if you feel you need to. I'm going to man through this and get that rolled out. All right, so we got that rolled out as best we can. It is best to apply inward motion like this, right? Once you get flat enough, it's very difficult to get the proper leverage. So do the best you can. This in no way affects the functionality of the material. It just makes it adhere better and is less likely to slip around and go someplace that originally was not supposed to go. So can I hit this piece? I can. Beautiful. All right. So that's about what we got. I'm going to do the same on the driver's side door. We'll reassemble it. And man, this is going to look and sound like a brand new car. All right. So the driver's side door is done and I can prove it. Again, you're going to get cut up. Turns out auto manufacturers don't consider that you'll be shoving the majority of your arm into a door well. So it's going to be quite sharp. You're going to leave behind a little bit of battle scarage, which will be something interesting to tell the kids. So that's what we got. Let me go ahead and do the mandatory. Oh, God. Beautiful. So from the outside, so you can hear a rattle. That sound is eaten up. Man, this sounds like it's made out of wood. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and get the panels installed. So this is the mess it looks like. This is the after. So everything looks nice and slick, shiny. In the outdoor light, I can see that I missed that area there. So I am going to go ahead and touch that up a bit. Again, knock free any hairs that you see. But man, that looks great. There is a little bit of mud and dust inside here. I just used a bristle brush with soapy water, got rid of that. So I'm going to touch up here, there, and here. But that is what your interior can look like if you take the time. And then again, even with the door open, sounds much better. And finished door on passenger side. I am noticing some dry here, some dry down there as well. And the only thing I can figure, because I know I was quite thorough with this, is the plastic has soaked up that material, and that's why you have a couple of dry spots. So while you're here, just go ahead and hit it again. This is the most exposed to being up against feet with your shoes bringing in moisture and stuff like that. So it's probably going to alter the plastic down here a little more than the rest of it. Go ahead and hit it again while you have it. But that is what our finished product looks like there. So again, I've done the trunk, have not done this panel, did do this door, and just completed this door. So we have a little more to go. This is number 2 of a multi-part, I assume, series. But your door sounds denser, hits denser, transfers less noise, vibrates less. So as I said, I've already noticed that I've had to arrange my audio system, turn it down 2-3 volume clicks to compensate for the fact that I am no longer fighting as much road noise. which is ideal. So I freely admit this is a first attempt for me. I have not done this before, just done a bit of research online. So thanks to fellow YouTubers for putting that information out there. I'm a proof of concept that you can learn and do a task that you've never done before by following other people's insights, and that is what I hope to have provided for you guys. So any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them in the comments section below. As always, this is Outside the Target Demographic, and I will catch you guys in the next video.